The sun hung low over the clover meadow, casting long, golden shadows across the grass. Most of the forest animals were settling in for the evening, but Barnaby the Hare, a blur of twitching whiskers and restless energy, was currently zigzagging around an old oak tree, just for the thrill of the wind in his ears. At the base of the tree sat Thatcher, a tortoise whose shell looked like a weathered river stone. Thatcher was moving too, though moving was a generous term. He was adjusting his position by a fraction of an inch to catch the final, fading warmth of a sunbeam. "You know, Thatcher," Barnaby said, skidding to a dusty halt, "if you moved any slower, I'm pretty sure the moss would start growing over your eyelids." Thatcher blinked, his movements deliberate and calm. "Speed is a gift, Barnaby, but perspective is a choice. I see the ants building their cities. I see the way the dew clings to the clover. You only see a green blur." Barnaby smirked, his back leg drumming a rhythmic beat on the dirt. "Tell you what, tomorrow at dawn, from the great oak to the silver brook, if you beat me, I'll spend a whole week sitting still. No running, no hopping, just sitting." Thatcher's eyes twinkled with a quiet, ancient humor. "And if I lose?" "Then you have to admit that being fast is objectively better." The race. When the sun broke the horizon the next morning, the meadow was crowded. The squirrels took the high branches, and the field mice lined the path. "Go!" chirped a blue jay. Barnaby didn't just run, he vanished. He was a streak of brown lightning, his paws barely touching the earth. By the time he reached the halfway point, the wildberry patch, he looked back. The great oak was a mile away, and Thatcher was nothing more than a tiny, dark speck. "This is almost insulting," Barnaby chuckled. The berries smelled sweet, heavy with morning nectar. "Heck, I have time for a nap." He tucked himself under the shade of a large burdock leaf. The rhythmic buzzing of bees acted like a lullaby. Just 5 minutes, he thought. The steady shadow. While Barnaby dreamed of clover fields, Thatcher kept moving. He didn't look at the brook. He didn't look at the sleeping hare. He looked exactly 3 inches in front of his nose. Step, breathe, slide, repeat. Hours passed. The sun climbed to its peak and began its slow descent. The heat made the air shimmer. Barnaby, deep in a dream-induced twitch, didn't notice the river stone slowly passing his leafy hideout. Thatcher didn't stop to gloat. He didn't even turn his head. He just kept his steady, rhythmic pace. The finish. A sudden roar of cheers from the brook snapped Barnaby awake. He bolted upright, his heart hammering. "Wait, what time is it?" He sprinted toward the finish line, his muscles screaming as he pushed his speed to the limit. He was fast enough to break records, but he wasn't fast enough to beat time itself. As Barnaby skidded toward the water's edge, he saw Thatcher. The tortoise's front claw was resting firmly on the mossy bank of the silver brook. He looked exactly as he had that morning, calm, collected, and remarkably dry. Barnaby sat down, panting, his ears drooping low. I don't understand. I'm 100 times faster than you." Thatcher turned his head slowly. "You are, Barnaby, but you were racing against me. I was only racing against the road." Barnaby kept his word.